I would say good morning, but it's actually good evening. I don't normally come live this time, but there's just, I was going to save this for in the morning, but I couldn't hold it in anymore. I had to talk about it. There's so much going on. It's unbelievable. This is Mike Cook, the Patriot, coming to you live from Central Missouri. It is approximately 5 minutes to 8 o'clock in the evening. I'm usually doing this at 5 minutes to 8 o'clock in the morning, but I couldn't wait till morning. I got to do it now. This stuff is blowing my mind. Let's see here. We'll get started. People jumping on it. Say hi to me. Let me know you're watching. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Rumble, on YouTube, on Parler, on MeWe. I'm everywhere. So I'm everywhere. Woo. Anyways, so everybody jumping on, say hi. I might not answer you back right now. I've got too much. I'm going to try to cram as much as I can. I don't know how long this thing's going to be because there's a lot of information. I mean, this thing's screaming. So, and again, we're going to get right to it. I just want to share some of the stuff that's kind of been hitting me today real quick. First off is a nice little video out of the state of California. I'm not going to play, I'm not going to play the video because I need my green screen and then I can start showing you video, but I haven't got that far yet. I'm just getting started. But you guys can hear the audio and you'll get the point. So here we go. I want you to listen to this young lady right here.
So I'm Gemma, as everybody on my group knows, and I was just shopping in a unknown hardware store, and I happened to run into the lovely, was it Alyssa?
Yeah, it's
Alyssa, and I happened to tell her my vote hasn't been counted. And what did you just tell me?
my dog voted in the 2020 election.
And how did you find this out?
I got an email that now won't open because the server is down, apparently.
Okay, hold on one second. I want to reiterate, in case you didn't hear what she said. She said her dog voted. You got that? Her dog voted. So let's go back. We'll listen some more.
So now she has her microchip number as her social security. I went to the voting place, looked under her name and everything, told them her social security number. All of her vet records are gone now. And she had already voted.
And can you tell everybody a little bit about why your dog would be registered to vote? She is a service dog, correct?
She's registered service dog through the Santa Cruz County Police Department and Cabrillo.
And so now she's been labeled a human.
Yeah. And
so her dog,
because she's a student.
So her dog because her dog is a service dog and was listed as a student at Cabrillo College, correct?
Yeah.
Her dog was listed as a human, registered to vote. So you called them, right? Or you contacted them that your dog got a voter registration, and they said, what did they say?
They said that she had already voted.
So your 2.5-year-old Labrador mix had already voted.
Yeah.
Who'd she vote for?
I am not sure.
She better vote for Trump.
I am really not sure who she voted for, but yeah, it was listed as a mail-in. I had a little trouble finding her through the voter registration because I didn't know the birth date they gave her.
Oh my God, this is just.
So I had to look under social security number.
And how old did they have her listed as?
She was just 18.
So she was listed as 18. What's her actual age in dog years?
She's in dog years.
So 2.5, right?
She's
well,
about,
I don't mean dog years, but like if you took your dog to the vet and they asked you, how old's your dog? How old would they say?
She was born 2017.
Okay, so she's 2.5 to 3 years old. Yeah. They have her registered as an 18-year-old college student at Cabrillo who voted.
Maggie Magoo-Vella.
Maggie Magoo-Vella. Your dog voted.
Yeah.
So they registered your dog to vote.
They voted too through a mail-in.
So that my vote hasn't even been counted, and your dog
hasn't been counted either.
And you're telling okay, so my vote hasn't been counted. Your vote hasn't been counted, but your dog was able to vote and it's registered.
Yeah, hers went through.
This is awesome.
So, sum that up. This young lady's dog, because it's an obedience dog, or trained dog, or what a service dog. It went to college to get certification for that, and somehow registered to vote as an 18-year-old male. Now, the two ladies talking, their votes have yet to be found and counted in the state of California. So I just threw that one in there just because I thought it was freaking nuts and I thought you'd like it. So I just kind of just tossed that one in there for the fun of it. So we're going to get to the meat of what's really breaking, although I think that has a lot to do with it. Understand that what's coming up in the very near future, tomorrow, the next day after that, is information warfare. We are in a civil war right now, information warfare. Be prepared to hear all kinds of stuff. It was breaking news yesterday or today, this morning, that Donald Trump had conceded on Twitter. Then you go to his Twitter account and he absolutely 100% categorically denied it. It was nowhere on his Twitter that he did that. He said, we will win this. Information warfare. Whatever's being said by CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News cannot be trusted. So now here's another little segment of a video that I want you to hear. This one's not very long, just a couple minutes long, but I want you to hear what this guy has to say. We're building up to something, and I want you to understand what's going on, okay?
Basically, what most Americans don't understand is that voting is done by private companies. The elections are conducted by private companies under contract from the county. And we went in and started looking at these private companies and their software and their security. And we realized, first off, there are no security standards. So there are no national standards that any voting company needs to meet as far as the security on their software. And as a result of that, we then began to look and we realized how easy it is to change votes. The software is so bad you can easily change the audit trail so that later you cannot even forensically go back and find out the votes that were changed. And that led us to a number of areas. One, we said, well, what happens to your vote after whatever the voting company locally does to it? What happens to it? Well, it turns out in the case of Texas and 28 other states, it all goes to a server in Frankfurt, Germany, which is owned by Barcelona, Spain multinational. And that's who actually controls and reports your vote.
I got to jump in. So here in Texas, if you vote early, and so your vote is being stored, you think, safely somewhere, the data about all the votes in Texas and 27 other states, the early voting data is actually being held in a server in Germany.
That is correct. And not only that, but in their process, and by a company called Seidel, and in their process,
there's that
we can even see malware sitting there collecting all the credentials of all the county workers everywhere who are submitting information up, which means you can now go back into the county and change votes there too. So you don't just change it in Frankfurt, you can go back and even change it here. And the software is just that bad, and it is that insecure that someone with a reasonable knowledge of hacking could absolutely go in and change it. And we're seeing now the issue you were talking about with all the vote harvesting and absentee and early voting and mail-in voting. We're seeing what happens when software that is that bad.
So we're seeing what happens when software is that bad, that corrupt, that messed up. Anything could happen. We don't know. We just don't know what could happen. I mean, gee, anything could happen. So here's a little article called Release the Kraken. And I'm going to bring this up and I'm going to paraphrase it or read it to you. But understand that before I get to releasing the Kraken here, let me pull that off the screen here real quick. Before I get to that, let me over the weekend, a U.S. military force invaded the Seidel Corporation in Germany and seized their servers. The one he was just talking about. Okay? Seized the servers. So that's really got me kind of stymied. And so, anyways, I wanted to. The other day, Sidney Powell said, release the Kraken. So I kind of jumped off that server thing for a second. I'm going to try to tie all this together. Release the Kraken, okay? And so what is the Kraken? And everybody's all they got T-shirts now, says release the Kraken. I want to put that on the back of my truck. I just think, release the Kraken. It was so like, oh, that's awesome. Everybody's like, woo, release the Kraken. And the media was like, what in the world is she talking about? So what is she talking about? So release the Kraken. You see that picture I just put up there a minute ago with these. I'll bring it back up. Release the Kraken. So here's what this article says, and this is medium.com where I got this article, and it says top lawyer and ex-federal prosecutor Sidney Powell said in a new in the new conservative media Newsmax TV that I will release the Kraken. Some people are trying to figure out what she means. This is what she means. It was a direct, significant threat to the domestic enemies of America, the DNC, the Democrats, the traitors, the deep state trying to overthrow this government. And boy, was it ever a threat, full of reckoning of their lives. Kraken, what is it? It's the biggest, baddest botnet spyware virus on the planet right now. People know what this is, but they don't know where it came from. Cybersecurity company says it is not so good news. It invaded over 80% of computers on the planet. It says 400,000 distinct victims observed daily. Kraken has gone undetected on 80% of the computers, and it voids. It doesn't matter if you have antivirus software on there. Imagine all the corrupt officials that it can catch. Oh, what does it do? It is a software program that collects intel and or co-ops operating systems and sends that intel that it collects to a central data source somewhere. Nobody knows where. Imagine if it was used on American election machines to detect fraud preemptively by, say, the Trump administration. What if? Could you imagine that? Kraken is even powerful enough to knock entire countries off the internet. What just happened? Several times pre-election and post-election, that's right, Twitter went down, YouTube went down, Facebook had problems. No one really knew why. Could it be that maybe Kraken had something to do with it? Maybe they were collecting data. Maybe they were corrupting systems of the tech tyrants who were trying to take down the White House. Servers controlling the bottleneck automatically change the software code at predetermined times to avoid being detected by antivirus applications. So they changed the code. It's like one of them mutating code things you see in science fiction movies. Instead of using peer-to-peer techniques to control the botnet, Kraken uses command and control servers that are located in different parts of the world. Each infected computer has a list of command and control servers. If the current server is disabled, the zombie bots search around till they find another one, and they go there. This thing is literally impossible to defeat. Thousands of Fortune 500 level companies around the world computers have been compromised. Security research says somehow this thing is evading the defense techniques that enterprise use, such as, detection systems and intrusion systems and blah, blah, blah. We'll get into it. Historically, these type of botnets are used to send spam, malware, pushing, Bitcoin scans, and eventually the U.S. intelligence service, of course, used it to gather intel and operations all over the world. Rumor has it, they've even used it against their own people for anti-corruption actions. Imagine that. A lot of dirty Democrat, DNC, Silicon Valley operative, and American politicians, intel agencies, and FBI agents are sweating when they heard the words come out of her mouth, I will release the Kraken, because they knew what Kraken was. I can't blame them. Everything will be out in the open. Those committing crimes, trying to hold the American election hostage, they better let go now, or they won't be up for just a couple of years of election fraud, prison times. They'll be soon up against everything they've ever done. Hashtag save the children. Corrupt officials, corrupt police, organized crime, who could possibly hide from such a monster? Anyone who has committed even the slightest inappropriateness with a PC or a server, they have been seen. They have been recorded. You are part of the NSA collection grid and can be pulled up whenever they decide. Release the Kraken, she said. The enemies of America want a civil war. They're about to get one. My friends, that right there is awesome. That's all I got to say about that. That right there is mind-blowing, shaking my head. I can't believe awesome. So this was put out. Now, where the hell does Nancy go? You know, Nancy Pelosi, the one who has a stake in voting Dominion software that is now going under extreme investigation, possible major election fraud. Isn't that a felony? How come we haven't heard from Nancy Pelosi in a few days? Just wondering, just asking a question. So I'm just going to run through some stuff real quick before we get to some videos so you understand where I'm coming from. This one right here says that this is an older one. It says Seidel was selected by the Federal Voting Assistance Program, the United States Department of Defense, to provide secure online voting delivery on-screen marketing systems under the program to support overseas military and civilian voters for the 2010 election cycle and beyond. Seidel was awarded 9 of 20 states that agreed to participate in the program: New York, Washington, Missouri, Nebraska, Kansas, Mexico, South Carolina, Mississippi, and Indiana, making it the provider of the highest number of participating states. This was some time ago that this one came out, but it's just an explanation of what that was. Whoops, I pushed the wrong button. You didn't see it, but I did. All right, so we'll pull that one down, and let's see. We'll go to, whoops, I'm jumping the gun here. So we'll go to this one. What's this one say? U.S. Army teams raid the Seidel server facility in Germany, collecting extremely compelling data, deleting vote, switching votes, that kind of stuff. Data deleting and vote switching. That broke the other day. That came out. What was that all about? Seidel is a subsidiary of Dominion, which is the computer systems. And we're going to learn some more about all that here in a few minutes. I'm just running through these here so that you can kind of see where I'm getting at. The Biden and his crime cronies are not going to sleep well tonight. Well, Biden might, because he probably forgot who Seidel was. His co-conspirators know the name, and they also know the name Paragon Company, which purchased Seidel in October of 2020. I haven't even looked up Paragon, I don't know, Skynet, whatever the hell their name is. And there's one more here that is probably important to the stuff that's coming up. A senior administration official tells CNN that the CIA director, Haspel, has been iced out of an intelligence meeting that was to take place at the White House this last Friday, that included President Trump, Director of National Intelligence John Radcliffe, and top intelligence officers. Mind you, the Department of Defense has been gutted. The Secretary of Defense, the Undersecretaries of Defense, the Chief of Staff, the Deputy Chiefs of Staff, they've all been removed from their positions over at the Department of Defense. Excuse me, I got to take a break. No coffee tonight. I got to sleep. I'm too wired. I can't hardly sleep as it is. So with that being said, I'm going to jump ahead and go to a couple of little videos that this is Sidney Powell. This was last night, I believe. And this first one is she talks about a company called, I'll just let you listen. You'll get it. Okay, here we go.
Yes, well, he is listed as its former Admiral Peter Neffinger, or retired Admiral Peter Neffinger.
Remember that name.
He is president and on the board of Smartmatic. And it just so happens he's on Mr. Biden's presidential transition team that's going to be non-existent because we're fixing to overturn the results of the election in multiple states. And
she just said the owner of Smartmatic, which is the software program that Seidel used in the Dominion computers, is on the Biden transition team. He's also an English Duke. He also has connections to the CCP and Venezuela. But hey, I'm sure it's no big deal. Nothing to see here.
President Trump won by not just hundreds of thousands of votes, but by millions of votes that were shifted by this software that was designed expressly for that purpose. We have sworn witness testimony of why the software was designed. It was designed to rig elections. He was fully briefed on it. He saw it happen in other countries. It was exported internationally for profit by the people that are behind Smartmatic and Dominion. They did this on purpose. It was calculated. They've done it before. We have evidence from 2016 in California. We have so much evidence. I feel like it's coming in through a fire hose.
So she goes on to the lady on there asks that's doing the interview, goes on and talks about a few things, and then asks if she can prove this. Do you have any proof? Do you have enough time to prove this? So this is her answer to that.
Well, I've got lots of ways to prove it, Maria, but I'm not going to tell on national TV what all we have. I just can't do that.
Okay, but you have a small time frame here. The elections are supposed to be certified in early December. Do you believe that you can present this to the courts and be successful within this just couple of weeks?
Well, let me put it this way. First of all, I never say anything I can't prove. Secondly, the evidence is coming in so fast, I can't even process it all. Millions of Americans have written, I would say by now, definitely hundreds of thousands have stepped forward with their different experiences of voter fraud. But this is a massive election fraud. And I'm very concerned it involved not only Dominion and its Smartmatic software, but that the software essentially was used by other election machines also. It's the software that was the problem. Even their own manual explains how votes can be wiped away. They can it's like drag and drop Trump votes to a separate folder and then delete that folder. It's absolutely brazen how people bought this system and why they bought this system. In fact, every state that bought Dominion for sure should have a criminal investigation or at least a serious investigation of the officers in the states who bought the software. We've even got evidence of some kickbacks, essentially.
Evidence of kickbacks, evidence of other states being involved, evidence of governors being involved. I didn't even put it up here because I'm getting so flabbergasted trying to do all this. I even left some stuff out. But the Chinese, the CCP, the Chinese political party, has rated our governors. That's right, rated our governors based upon those that are hardliners, meaning they won't work with them, those that are moderate, and those that are loyal to them are governors of our states. And there are several of them that are not in the hardliners category where they should be. I forgot to put that tweet up there so you could see it. So that being said, now here's the deal. I got to give a hat tip to a couple of people who I've been following, who've given me a good friend of mine named Brad Barton out of Tennessee. He led me to a lot of this information on a video he did today. And then there's this podcaster blog lady. Her name is Beach Broadcasting.com or beachbroadcast.com or Santa Surfing Beach Broadcast on YouTube. And she really, let me just say, there is two executive orders that the president signed, one in September of 18, And then he extended that one just a couple months ago. And that is EO Executive Order 13848. Okay. And she's going to talk about this. And then he just signed another executive order a couple of days ago. It's kind of long. Bear with me. I know y'all, this is going to blow your freaking mind. Bear with me. Let me tell you that she's got paragraphs of this stuff. It's a 40-minute video. Go to her website. You can either read it or watch the video yourself. And you might have to watch it 10 times because it's that crazy. So we're going to jump on over here, and I'm going to go ahead and get this started. Listen close, because she's going to run a bunch of stuff by it, and it's going to be pretty quick. We got about 5 minutes here, so hang in there, and I'm going to pop something up on the screen so you have to stare at my ugly mug. So here we go. Listen close.
The EO was quietly signed back on September 12th of 2018. President Trump didn't have like this big briefing about it. He just signed it, which he can because he's the president of the United States. But this is the EO. It was imposing certain sanctions in the event of foreign interference in the United States elections. You see, guys, President Trump and the White Hats knew that there was going to be interference in the election. Now, this was signed right before the 2018 election. So how many of those people that got involved with the 2018 election are also going to fall under this executive order? Then this was only good up through September 12th of 2020. So he extended it to next year. That was the extension. So there's the continuation. He just signed this just a few days ago. Then, okay, so I'm going to kind of go over this very quickly. You might want to grab a little Gatorade or water or coffee or whatever favorite adult drink you want to drink here, because this is really going to kind of like. I would be careful. You don't want to go ahead and have any drink snorts, because there's some stuff in here that's going to make you go, what? So this is part of what the Executive Order 13848 says. I just took the parts that really seem to be applicable, but it says all property and interests of property that are in the United States that hereafter come within the United States, or that are hereafter come within the possession or control of any United States person of the following persons are blocked. All right. That means seized, guys, and may not be transferred. Get this: paid, exported, withdrawn, or otherwise dealt in. Okay, this is huge. Any foreign person determined by the Secretary of Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, and the Secretary of Homeland Security to have directly or indirectly engaged in, sponsored, concealed, or otherwise been complicit in foreign interference in the United States election, to have material assisted or sponsor or provide a financial material or technological support, guys, for goods or services or any support thereof, any activity described in section A1, A here, right up here, or any person whose property or interest in property are blocked pursuant to this order, or to be owned or controlled by. Guys, okay, I'm going to stop right here. Controlled by. Who has been controlling a lot of these politicians that we're learning now? All right. Yeah. Who? The CCP. Controlling who? Oh, let's say the Bidens, Pelosi. You can name the list. The list is long. I'm sure the list is huge, long, but that's another. And then who else controlled? Who else was controlled by these foreign players? The big tech. All right. I could say that confidently. All right. The big tech. How many other corporations were influenced in that? How about the media? Isn't the media also controlled by them as well? I think that's where this whole thing is going to start to unravel, because it's going to point fingers to the CCP and the media. That's what I think. That's just my own opinion. You can decide, but that's what I think this is where it's all going to lead to. This is really huge. And then their interest, their properties are blocked. Then it says the recommendation shall include the assessment of and the effect of sanctions in the economic and national security of the United States and its allies. And it says here, blocking and prohibiting all transactions in a person's property, export license restrictions under the statute, prohibitions of United States financial institutions making loans or providing credit to a person, meaning that they can't even go get a loan, guys. They can't even apply for a credit card. And if they do, they can't be, I mean, they aren't allowed. They can't, they're done. They're just like, they got to have a mark on their credit report that says decline no matter what. All right. I mean, can you imagine? Because again, they're trying to prevent people from escaping, people from trying to flee the country because of these crimes, restrictions or transactions in foreign exchange in which a person has any interest. Now I understand why we can't, why just we just now understand they cannot take foreign currencies. They can't have any foreign exchanges. Oh my gosh, this is so huge. Prohibitions on transfers of credit or payments between financial institutions. Now, I'm also wondering, is this also applying to the banks? I mean, are the banks involved in this? I'm really curious. Anybody want to help out with that? That would be great. For the benefit of a person, prohibitions on United States persons investing or purchasing equity or debt of a person. All right. So in other words, you or I cannot go and say, hey, Mr. Election Thug, we'll go ahead and buy your debt. No, they're stuck with it. All right, exclusions of a person's alien corporation officers in the United States. And then this is the big one here. Also making donations of the type of art in the article, section 203B up above, or in this section right here. Guys, President Trump and his attorneys, they thought of everything, making contributions in other ways by goods, services, funds. So if you can't do any bartering with them, oh my gosh, this is so huge. They are any transaction that evades or avoids as a purpose of evading or avoiding causes a violation of or attempts to violate any of the prohibitions set forth in this order is prohibited. Guys, I mean, that means their criminal thug buddies, they can't get involved with their scheme or their scam. Now, that's just one. Oh boy, I'm exhausted. Then the brand new executive order quietly signed on the 10th of November of this year. It's on the CCP involvement and how the DOD and DHS plays a vital role in this EO. Now, I'm going to share this with you guys. This EO above, EO 13848, the DOD and the DHS are very, very involved in this. All right. Same thing with this new one that was just signed. And executive order on addressing the threat from securities investments that finance communist Chinese military companies. Oh my gosh, guys. Do you realize what kind of nuclear bomb that is? All right. That is a huge kaboom. Huge. Because we're learning the CCP had their hands in a lot of different pockets and people, right? Trade, security trading, etc., in connection with the CCP or CC military is prohibited, and it's effective. Now, they had dates, and then you had to kind of work out the dates. So I kind of said, I'm just summarizing the dates. It's effective between November 11th of 2020. That's when the bombs started dropping about the election fraud, and then November 11th of 2021. Even donations are prohibited. Remember, Biden received now think about this. Remember when the Bidens received $3.5 million from the Russian mayor's billionaire wifey? Remember that? You know why he got that $3.5 million? It's because the wifey, wanted to avoid sanctions. So she was taking her money and she was putting it into Hunter's business and then to other businesses as well. So she was having them launder her money so that she can go ahead and still have access to her funds. It wasn't frozen. So she got away with the sanctions, but she paid Biden $3.5 million to allow her to do that. And during that time, loser Barry, he turned a blind eye to the whole sanction avoidance scam. He didn't.
So there you have it. That is, in a nutshell, the executive orders that have been signed by the President of the United States. Now, you put that all together with what I was talking about, which is the raid on the Sidel Corporation in Germany. Now, understand that's a huge thing, that American forces invaded a foreign country that is an ally of ours and a NATO member. Think about that. This is huge. This is a world war. The countries that I found that are involved in this grand conspiracy are as follows: Venezuela, Cuba, China, Russia, Ukraine, Germany, Great Britain, Italy, Spain. There's probably more. Canada. They're involved with trying to remove this president, whether it was back in Russia, or the impeachment, or what's happening right now. We are at war. It's an information war, not a shooting war. It's a Cold War, so to speak. It's a cold civil information war, one side and the other in this country. You cannot trust the media, what they are saying to you at all. And in the next 4 or 5 days, it's going to get 1,000 times worse, because they know that their necks are hanging out exposed, that Donald Trump has played the whammy on them. He's played them like they've never been played before in their lives. He set them up from the beginning. I saw a Q post the other day. I'm not a big Q follower, but I saw a Q post the other day that was posted November 2 years ago, talking about November 3rd is pivotal and the next 3 weeks will be important. Well, here we are. They've known all along. Hashtag save the children. They've gathered the information. They counter-couped the coup. And it's about to implode. He let these people have enough rope to hang themselves, and they walked right up to the gallows and put their necks in it. I firmly believe 100% that either one side or the other is going to win, because but that if our side does not win, this is the end of the United States of America as we know it. Yes, there'll be a country and there'll be people, but we won't be the land of the free and the home of the brave. And there's one more thing that I'm going to add to this mess. That Donald Trump is not alone in this, that God above is moving his hand in a mighty way that we are going to write about for the next 1,000 years. It's starting to unfold and collapse before their very eyes. Mind you, what we just put together, all these companies that are interlinked, and all these companies that have ties to the DNC, to Nancy Pelosi, to Hillary Clinton, to Barack Obama, they're all in there. And all the media companies that have ties to China, Google, Facebook, Twitter, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News. My friends, this is the great shifting, the great splitting, the great dividing of hairs. The chaff and the wheat are being separated right now. You can't trust your politician. You can't trust your news people. You can't trust the local guys that unless you know them personally. You can't trust anyone. Do your own research. Go to beachbroadcast.com. Read this stuff for yourself. Go check it out. Google it. But don't Google it. DuckDuckGo it. Look up what Seidel is. Look up what Smart Made or whatever it is that company is. Research this stuff. Figure it out for yourself. Because we are on the precipice, my friends. It's gonna be crazy. And don't trust the media. The media didn't show you the millions of people that showed up in DC. And you know what else they didn't show you? They didn't show you the little girls in the little white girls in the Black Lives Matter shirt beating the crap out of black woman pushing a baby stroller. They didn't show you that. But if you go out to Twitter and stuff and you search for it, you can find the videos that after the mega rally that they had in D.C., the stragglers that were staying a little later, they should have probably got out of there. The Antifas and the Black Lives Matters and the thugs and stuff, they showed up and started beating the people up, stomping their heads, curb stomping them and whatnot. The media didn't show you that. The media didn't show you that. You can't trust anything in the media right now. Not any of the channels. Be very careful. Newsmax has been pretty good, but I would be suspect of that too. Everything is misinformation. Everything is designed to get you to doubt. Everything is designed to get you to fear. Everything. I mean everything, from the coronavirus to the election to whatever it is they're spinning next. When you got Republican politicians saying, oh, we need to worry about Georgia. We need to worry about Georgia. We need to worry about Georgia because we're going to lose the Senate. You know, Donald Trump just needs to forget fighting this and get down to Georgia. Let me tell you something. If Donald Trump doesn't win, we ain't going to win Georgia because they're using the same Dominion software program or computers with the same Seidel software with the same accounting ability. They're going to steal this one too. Those two senators are going to lose. I promise you. We cannot trust it. We have to fight this. We have to hold the line. How do we do that? We call our congressmen every day. We call our senators every day. We tell them we've had enough of this. We, the American people. You know, if we all standed up and went out in the streets, every single one of us, there's 300 million of us. You think they could stop us? We could storm the White House. We could storm the Congress right now. And there ain't nobody that can stop us from doing it. Think about that. We have the power. They work for us. Public servants is what they are. They serve us. The ultimate authority in this country. The Bible says, give unto Caesar that is Caesar. I hear this all the time. You're supposed to, listen to your superiors. They are not your superiors. Caesar in this country is you and me. We are Caesar. This is a democratic elected republic. And the power was enumerated in the Constitution. The rest of it was left to the states, which are sovereign, and to the people. We are the sovereign. Me and you and everybody watching this video right now are the sovereign. It's time we stand up and take this country back. We are in the middle of a civil war right now. It's an information war. It's not a shooting war yet. But I promise you that those same people that were in DC beating up people, beating up children, beating up old men, those people will be on the street before this is over, because they cannot let Donald Trump win, because their necks will be stretched. You guys have a great day. Gate for jumping on. Please research this. Just don't take my opinion. Go look. The internet is a real big deal. You could do all kinds of stuff on it. Go figure it out for yourself, but don't trust the media. Whatever they tell you, it ain't true. You guys have a great day. I've been on here 40 minutes. It's double my allotted time. You guys have a great one. I appreciate everybody jumping on. Share this message.